Alrighty, folks. I am back. I'm gonna go ahead and go live. Turn on the big camera. Okay, there it goes. I am back. I think I'll just cover 10 pages today. I'm just like tired. I haven't been able to sleep. And it's like life has been getting hard on me. So like I got rear-ended today. And it's like, dude, why is it people just can't pay attention on the road? Why? Why do I have to deal with this stuff? Okay, so I will stop today at page 500, slightly over 10 pages. Okay, all right, here we go. Cider House Rules, we're still in chapter 10. It's too early for hiring pickers, Vernon said. Something about the way Melanie looked at him made him not insist on that point. Just go tell Homer there's someone to see him, Big Dot told Vernon. Homer's the boss. The boss? Melanie said. Irene Titcomb giggled and turned Bernskar away. Actually, kind of secret. Who's boss around here? Irene said. Vernon Lynch gunned the tractor so hard that an oily black smoke burst out of the exhaust pipe and washed over the women in the work. You're gonna work here, Big Dot told Melanie. You might as well know it. The guy driving the tractor is the number one asshole. Melanie shrugged. There's just one? She asked, and Big Dot laughed. Oh, my pies, said Irene Titcomb, who went running off. Lawrence Hyde sized Melanie up in a friendly way, and Big Dot put her meaty paw on Melanie's shoulder as if they were lifelong pals. Irene Titcomb ran back to them and announced that the pies were saved. So tell us how you know Homer Wells, Lawrence Hyde said to Melanie. From where and since when? Asked Big Dot Taft. From St. Cloud, since forever, Melanie told them. He was my guy, she told the woman, her lips parting, showing the damage done to her teeth. You don't say, said Big Dot Taft. Homer Wells and his son Angel were talking about masturbation. Rather, Homer was talking. They were taking a lunch break under one of the old trees in the frying pan. They'd been putting crates out in the orchards all morning, taking turns driving the tractor and unloading the crates. They'd finished their sandwiches, and Angel had shaken up his soda and squirted his father with it. Homer had tried to find a casual way to bring up the subject of masturbation. Andy had mentioned Homer that the evidence on Angel's bedsheet suggested that this might be the time for a father and son conversation regarding Angel's obviously emerging sexuality. Boy, when I was your age, St. Cloud's, it was really tough to beat off with any privacy. Homer had begun the thought casually. I mean, and this is real talk, like I think there's nothing wrong, and scientists agree that it's healthy to masturbate. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't hurt anybody. I think it's one of the healthiest and best expressions of sexuality there is, really. As long as, of course, you're doing it in a reasonable place. You're not like jerking off in public. And yeah, if the boy is in high school at that point, like, I say just let him do the deed and don't bother yourself all that much about it. Like I said, it's not hurting anybody. As a matter of fact, maybe it's saving somebody. Saving someone from being born. I know that's kind of a cynical view, but it's the truth, right? Some comedian, I think it was Louis Black, said, "Let not your seed fall on the ground." But I'm like, dude, The seed that fell on the ground is a baby that did not have to suffer this life. They were the lucky ones. They were the ones that did not have to endure life or its hardships. And sure, someone else would say, well, the flip side is true. They also didn't have the opportunity to experience the joys of life. The moments that were memorable, that people live for. But it's like, dude, there's light and there's shadow. Where was I, though? They've been lying on their backs in the tall grass, under the fullest tree in the frying pan. The sun couldn't filter through the lush, bent branches and all the heavy apples. Really? Angel said indifferently after a while. Yup, Homer said. You know, I was the oldest, about your age, and I was supposed to be in charge of all the other kids, more or less. I knew they weren't even old enough to have pubic hair, or they didn't know what to make of their little hard-ons. Angel laughed. Homer laughed too. So how'd you manage it? Angel asked his father after a while. I waited until I thought they were all asleep, and then I tried to keep the bed quiet, Homer said. You got no idea how long it can take 12 or 15 boys to fall asleep. They both laughed some more. There was the one other kid who was old enough to know about it, Homer confided. I think he was just beginning to experiment with playing with himself. I think the first time that he actually did it, he didn't have any idea what would happen. When he actually squirted, when he ejaculated, you know. He thought he'd hurt himself. In the dark, he probably thought he was bleeding. The story was a complete fiction, but Angel Wells loved it. He laughed in a very worldly way, which encouraged his father to go on. I mean, I would delve deeper into the topic, but it's a bit of a risque subject. It's like very personal, so I would just say it's okay to do it. But again, as long as you're doing it in a reasonable place. Well, he was so worried. He kept asking me to turn on the light. He said something had broken inside him, Homer said. Broken? Angel said, and they both howled. Yes, Homer said. When I turned on the light and he got a look at himself, he said, oh God, it went off. As if we were talking about a gun, and he just shot himself with it. Father and son laughed over that for a while. And I guess since we're on this subject, I'd say that as a guy, like if you can master the art, you can control your urges, I guess your animalistic tendencies, desires. It's really, in my mind, a better alternative to what people would do in the past, right? It's, like I said, it's like the healthy alternative. Then Homer said more seriously, of course I tried to explain it all to him. It was hard to make him understand that he hadn't done anything wrong, because it's natural. It's perfectly healthy and normal. These things have a way of getting distorted. Angel was quiet now. Perhaps he saw the reason for the story. Just imagine me trying to explain this to this kid. He was quite a bit younger than you are. It was only natural that he would have feelings about girls and about sex long before he'd have the opportunity to have anything to do with girls or to actually have sex. He truly labored the point into submission. He paused to see how his son was taking it in. Angel, who had a long stalk of grass in his mouth, lay on his back staring at the sprawling trunk of the huge tree. They were quiet for a while, and then Homer said, is there anything you'd like to ask me? About anything? Angel gave a short laugh, then he paused. Yes, Angel said to his father. I wonder why you don't have a girlfriend. You don't even seem interested. Au contraire, young Angel. Your mother Candy is his forever girlfriend. Okay, like actually Homer's had a few girlfriends. He's had like what, like Deborah Pettigrew, right? Uh Melanie, of course. He's had a few girlfriends. Like that's he hasn't had problems in that department. This was not the question Homer had expected, following his birds and bees invitation. After a few seconds, he realized that the question should have been anticipated, and that some reasonable answer was doubtlessly pressing more on Angel's mind than any truths regarding masturbation. It's such a weird thing for Angel to say, right? Like, I had a girlfriend in St. Cloud's, Homer said. She was kind of rough on me. She was something of a bully. Older than me, and at the time, she was stronger than me, he said, laughing. No kidding, Angel said. He wasn't laughing. He rolled over on his elbows and was watching his father intently. Well, we weren't very much alike, Homer said. It was one of those cases of the sex happening before there was a friendship, or there really being no friendship. After a short while, there wasn't any more sex either. After that, I'm not sure what the relationship was. It's sort of a bad way to start, you mean? Angel asked. Right, his father said. So what happened after that? Angel said. Angel asked. I met Wally and Candy, Homer said carefully. I guess I would have married Candy if she hadn't married Wally. She was almost my girlfriend for about 5 minutes. That was when Wally was in the war. We wondered if he was still alive, Homer said quickly. I've always been so close to Wally and Candy, and then once I had you, I started to feel that I had already had everything I wanted. I mean, I thought Homer was married to Candy. I don't know. This is a confusing part of the chapter because I thought Homer and Candy were together. I thought so. They had Angel after all, so they were together for at least a time. Angel Wells rolled over on his back, gazing up the trunk of the tree. So you still kind of like Candy? He asked. You're not interested in anybody else? Again, awkward, unnecessary conversation. Angel talking about his mom. Like, dude, just tell him the truth. Why keep running? Kind of, said Homer Wells. Have you ever met anybody you're interested in? He asked, hoping to change the subject. Nobody who'd interest me, his son said. I mean, the girls I think about are all too old to even look at me. That will change, Homer said, poking Angel in the ribs. The boy doubled up his knees and rolled on his side, poking back at his father. Pretty soon, Homer said, the girls are going to stand in line to look at you. Grabbed Angel in a headlock, and they started wrestling. Wrestling with Angel was the one way Homer could keep in close physical contact with the boy, long after Angel had grown self-conscious about being hugged and kissed in public. The 15-year-old boy doesn't want his father draped all over him, but wrestling was perfectly respectable. That was still allowed. They were wrestling so hard and laughing, breathing so heavily that they did not hear Vernon Lynch approach them. Hey, Homer, Vernon said sharply, kicking at them as they rolled on the ground under the big tree, the way he might tentatively attempt to break up a dogfight. When they saw him standing over them, they froze in an awkward embrace, as if they'd been caught doing something they shouldn't. You quit dicking around, Vernon said. I got a message for you. For me, said Homer Wells. There's a fat woman who says she knows you. She's at the mart, Vernon said. Homer smiled. He knew several fat women at the mart. He assumed that Vernon meant Big Dot Taft or Florence Hyde. Even Squeeze Louise had been putting on weight in years. I mean, a new fat woman, Vernon said. Started walking back to his tractor. She says she wants to be a picker. She asked for you. She knows you. Homer got slowly to his feet. He rolled over a root of the big tree, a root that hurt him in the ribs. Also, Angel had stuffed grass down the back of his shirt. Angel said to his father, "Oh, a fat woman, huh? Guess he didn't tell me about the fat woman." So Homer unbuttoned his shirt to make shake out the grass. Angel poked his father's bare stomach. That was when Angel noticed that his father had aged. He was still a trim man and strong from all the orchard work he'd done. Just a bit of belly rolled over the belt of his jeans. His hair, tousled from the wrestling, was more flecked with gray than it was with grass. Something grim around the corners of Homer's eyes that Angel had also never noticed before. Yeah, it's just hard on me. Everything is, man. The sleep, the freaking guy who plowed into me today. Like, dude, if you don't know how to drive, get off the road. It's that simple. There's enough traffic. Quick aside, there's enough traffic. It's hard enough getting to where we need to go without people like down the road. This is the second time, by the way. Second time. Here in Colorado, someone rear-ended me. The first time, the guilty party made right. This time, the guy just took off. Like, care in the world. Like, dude, if you hit somebody, you have a responsibility to make it right. I knew that when I was 18 years old when I got my first accident, and I knew that today. Do the right thing. Not hard. I don't know. Yeah, I just don't know. Anyway, page 492, I'll continue reading until I reach page 500 today. Pop, Angel asked him softly, who's the woman? But his father was looking at him in a panic. He started buttoning his shirt askew. Angel had to help with it. Can't be the bully, can it? Angel was trying to joke with his father. Their manner together was often full of joking, but Homer wouldn't speak. He wouldn't even smile. Half a trailer of apple crates still needed to be unloaded, but Homer drove too fast, dumping an occasional crate. An empty trailer in no time. Way back to the apple mart. Homer took the public road instead of winding through the back orchards. Public road was faster, although Homer had told all the drivers to keep off it whenever they could, to avoid any possible accidents with the beach traffic along the road in the summers. Children are most impressed with the importance of a moment when they witness a parent breaking the parent's own rule. You think it's her? Angel shouted to his father. He stood over his father's shoulders, his hands on the tractor seat, his feet braced against the trailer hitch. You gotta admit, it's a little exciting, the boy added, but Homer looked grim. Homer parked the tractor and trailer by the storage barns next to the mart. You start putting on another load, he told Angel, but he was not going to get rid of Angel so easily. The boy dogged his footsteps to the apple mart, where Big Dot and Florence and Irene were surrounding the implacable and massive Melanie. It is her, isn't it? Angel whispered to his father. Hello, Melanie, said Homer Wells. There was not a sound in the still summer air. How you doing, Sunshine? Melanie asked him. Sunshine, said Big Dot Taft. Even Angel had to say it out loud. Imagine his father, Sunshine. Though he waited years to see him, Melanie's gaze was riveted not on Homer Wells but on Angel. Melanie could not take her eyes off the boy. Homer Wells, a pleasant-looking man in his 40s, did not very precisely remind Melanie of the Homer Wells she had known. Rather, it was Angel who struck Melanie with a force quite unexpected by her. She had not anticipated being swept off her feet by the near-splitting image of the boy she had known. Poor Angel felt a little wilted by the ruffian eye Melanie cast over him. He was a young gentleman, and he smiled appealingly at the stranger. There's no doubt about who you are, Melanie said to the boy. You look more like your father than your father. Big Dot and the Applemore ladies were hanging on her every word. It's nice to see you. Sorry. It's nice that you see a resemblance, said Homer Wells, but my son is adopted. There Homer goes peddling those lies. Had Homer Wells learned anything? Through those years of hard knocks, those years of muscle and fat betrayal and growing decidedly older, he could not see. Melanie's fierce, sad eyes said she possessed a quality that can never be bullshitted. Adopted? Melanie said, her yellow-gray eyes never once leaving Angel. She was disappointed in her oldest friend, that he should, after all these years, still try to deceive her, yet even Melanie sees through it. That was when Candy, who had finally gotten rid of Bucky Bean, strolled into the apple mart, removed a Gravenstein from a basket on the first display table, took a sharp bite, noticed that no one seemed to be working, and walked over to the small crowd. Since the most natural space for Candy to enter this gathering was between Homer and Angel, she stepped between them, since her mouth was quite full of new apple. She was a little embarrassed to speak to the stranger. Hi, she managed to say to Melanie, who recognized instantly in Candy's face those few parts of Angel she had failed to locate in her memory of Homer Wells. This is Melanie, Homer said to Candy, who had difficulty swallowing. Long ago on the Cider House roof, she had heard all about Melanie. This is Mrs. Worthington, Homer mumbled to Melanie. How do you do? Candy managed to say. Mrs. Worthington? Melanie said, her lynx-like eyes now darting from Angel to Candy, Angel to Homer Wells. That was when Wally wheeled himself out of the office and into the mart. Isn't anyone working today? He asked in his friendly way. When he saw there was a stranger, he was polite. Oh, hello, he said. Hi, said Melanie. This is my husband, Candy said through lots of apple. Your husband? Melanie said. See, that's exactly what I thought. I thought she was married to Homer. This is Mr. Worthington, mumbled Homer Mills. Everybody calls me Wally, Wally said. Maybe Irving was referring to Wally instead. Melanie and I were in the orphanage together, Homer explained. Really? Wally said enthusiastically. That's great, he said. Get them to show you around. Show her the house, too, Wally told Homer. Maybe you'd like to take a swim. Yes, Melanie, who, once in her life, did not know what to say. Dot, I said to Big Dot tapped. Give me a count of the number of bushels of grabs we have in storage. Got a phone order waiting. He turned the wheelchair very smoothly and started to roll back to the office. Meanie knows how many we got, Florence Hyde said. He was just in there. Someone get Meanie to me, Clay said. Nice to meet you, he called to Melanie. Please stay for supper. Candy almost choked, but she managed hard to swallow. Thank you, Melanie called after Wally. He didn't need any help going in and out of the office, because Everett Taft had, years ago, taken the threshold off and arranged for the screen door to swing both ways, like a saloon door. Wally could come and go without assistance. He's the only hero here, Melanie thought, watching the door swing closed behind the wheelchair. She could not control her hands. She wanted to touch Angel, to hug him. She wanted to get her hands on Homer Wells for years. Now she didn't know what she wanted to do with him. She'd suddenly dropped all fours, or crouched into a stance more suitable for a fight. She knew that Homer Wells would be prepared. She noticed he had no control of his hands either. His fingers were playing pity-pat against his thighs. Hardest for Melanie was to recognize that there was no love for her in his eyes. He looked like a trapped animal. There was no enthusiasm or curiosity about seeing her in any part of him. He thought that if she'd open her mouth, beginning with a boy, how he was so clearly no orphan. Homer Wells would be at her throat before she could spit out the story. No one seemed to remember that Melanie had come, among other reasons, for a job. Neil said, Would you like to see the pool first? Well, I don't swim, Melanie said. It'd be nice to see it. He found that Homer was such an uncharacteristic warmth. It revealed everything about her bad teeth. Homer shivered. He was tired. The apple, from which only one uncomfortable bite had been taken, hung like a lead weight at the end of the Candy's limp arm. I'll show you the house, Candy said, after Angel's showing you the pool. She dropped the uneaten apple, then laughed at herself. I'll show you the orchards, Homer mumbled. You don't have to show me no orchard, Sunshine, Melanie said. I've seen lots of orchards before. Sunshine. Sorry, oh, he said. Sunshine, Candy said blankly. Angel poked his father in the back as they were walking toward the house and pool. Angel still thought that his surprise was great and unexpected. Homer turned briefly and frowned at his son, which Angel found all the more amusing. The boy showed Melanie the swimming pool, making special note of the ramp for Wally's wheelchair. Candy and Homer waited her arrival in the kitchen. I'm just like, she knows, Homer said to Candy. Melanie knows everything, said Homer Wells in a trance of almost ether intensity. How could she? Candy asked him. Did you tell her? Don't be ridiculous, Homer said. She just knows. She always knows. Don't you be ridiculous, Candy said crossly. Wally's a great swimmer, Angel explained to Melanie. In the ocean, he just needs to get carried out past the breakers. I can carry him. You're a good-looking guy, Melanie said to Angel. You're better looking than your dad ever was. Angel was embarrassed. He took the temperature of the pool. It's warm, he said. Too bad you don't swim. You could stay in the shallow end, or I could teach you how to float. Candy taught my dad how to swim. Incredible, Melanie said. She walked out on the diving board and jounced a little. She needed to jounce very little to make the board dip close to the water. I fell in. I bet you could save me, she said to Angel. I couldn't tell if the big woman was being flirtatious or threatening. She was really fooling around. That's what was exciting about her. Angel thought. Gave him the impression that from one minute to the next she might do anything. Probably save you if you were drowning, Angel offered cautiously. But Melanie was started from the end of the diving board, which lent her step the sense of springing power that one detects in a larger member of the cat species. Melanie. Incredible, she repeated, her eyes trying to take in everything. Want to see the house now? Angel asked her. She was making him nervous. Gee, it's someplace you got. Melanie told Candy, who shoved her downstairs. Homer showed the upstairs. In the hallway between Homer's and Angel's rooms, Melanie whispered this to him. Well, you really done all right for yourself. How'd you manage it, Sunshine? She feasted on him with her tawny eyes. You even got a great view, she pointed out, sitting on the master bed and looking out the window. When she asked if she could use the bathroom, Homer was downstairs to have a word with Candy. But Angel was still hanging around, still very much enjoying himself and still curious. The impact that the thug-like nature of his father's first girlfriend had made on the boy was considerable. Angel had solitary life, the violent apparition that had presented herself had been her father's first experience. It was more understanding to Angel why Homer had been reluctant to repeat that relationship, yeah. I seemed to spend a long time in the bathroom. Homer was grateful for the time he needed. So Angel to go back to work. Leave him alone with Melanie. She wants a job, he told him forcefully. I need to have a little time with her alone. I think I'm just gonna have to stop here because I'm like freaking out. So tired. I could probably save you, but if you were drowning, Angel offered cautiously. Melanie retreated from the end of the diving board, which lent her a step at the series of surprisingly power when detects in larger members of the cat family. Incredible, she repeated, her eyes trying to take in everything. Want to see the house now? Angel asked her. She was making him nervous. Gee, it's someplace you got, Melanie told Candy. You showed her the downstairs. Homer showed the upstairs. The hallway between the Homer's and Angel's rooms, Melanie whispered to him, well, you really done all right for yourself. How'd you manage it, Sunshine? I'm just so tired. She feasted on him with her tawny eyes. Even got a great view, she pointed out, sitting on the master bed and looking out the window. She asked if she could use the bathroom. I went downstairs to have a word with Candy, but Angel was still hanging around, still very much enjoying himself and still curious. The impact that the thug-like nature of this father's girlfriend had made on the boys was considerable. Angel had been troubled in trying to imagine why his father chose such a solitary life. The violent apparition that had presented herself before in this room will reassure him. The menacing woman had been his father's first experience, right here. More understandable to Angel why Homer had been reluctant to repeat that relationship. I haven't been sleeping, and it's like, gee, it's someplace you got, Melanie told Candy, who showed her downstairs. Homer showed her the upstairs. In the hallway between Homer's and Angel's rooms, Melanie whispered to him, boy, you really gone all out for yourself. How'd you manage it, Sunshine? How she feasted on him with her tawny eyes. You even got a great view, she pointed out, sitting on the bed and looking out the window. When asked if she could use the bathroom, Homer went downstairs to have a word with Candy, but Angel was hanging around, very much enjoying himself and still curious. The impact that the thug-like nature of his father's first girlfriend had made on the boy was considerable. Angel had been troubled in trying to imagine why his father chose such a solitary life. The violent apparition that had presented herself had been his Angel's father experience. More or less If this menacing woman had been the father's experience, it was more understandable to Angel why Homer had been reluctant to repeat the relationship. Melanie seemed to spend a lot of time in the bathroom. Homer Wells was grateful for the time. He needed it to be alone with Melanie. She wants a job, he told him forcefully. I need to have a little time with her alone. A job, Candy said, a new horror coming into her face. The thought of it made her squint her little eyes. Iris had never been Melanie's friend, but the mirror is. Where am I? The mirror in Homer's bathroom was especially harsh to her. She went through the medicine cabinet quickly for no reason. She dumped some of the pills down the toilet. She began rejecting razor blades from a crude metal dispenser. Emptied the dispenser before she could see about supplies. Melanie seemed to spend a long time in the bathroom. Homer Wells was grateful for a long time. He needed it to convince Candy and Angel to go back to work, to leave him alone with Melanie. She wants a job, he told them forcefully. I need to have a little time with her alone. Job, Candy said, a new horror coming into her face, and thought of it made her squint eyes. Mirrors had never been Melanie's friends, but the mirror in Homer's bathroom was especially harsh. Did the medicine cabinet quickly for no reason. She dumped pills together on the toilet. Began injecting razor blades from a crude metal dispenser. She emptied the dispenser before she could make herself stop. She had her finger picking up one of the blades of the floor. Jeez. She had her fingers stuck in her mouth when she first looked at herself in the mirror. She held the razor blade in either hand while she reviewed the 40-something years she saw in her face. Oh, she'd never been attractive. She had never been nice. Once she had been an efficient weapon, she thought. Now, that wasn't so sure. She held the razor blade against the pouch under one eye. She shut that eye as if the eye itself could watch what she was going to do. She then noted how to get back up. After a while, she put the blade down on the edge of the sink and cried. There she found a cigarette lighter. Katie must have left it in the bathroom. So this, I'm just trying. She saw the 15-year-old questionnaire from the St. Cloud's Board of Trustees. The paper was so old she had to be careful not to tear it. All those questions spun her mind around. She threw the toothbrush with the razor blade in the sink, sorry. And she picked it up again. Then she put it in the medicine cabinet, and then she took it out. She was sick once and fleshy twice. Romney stayed upstairs in the bathroom for a long time. She came downstairs. She found Homer waiting for her in the change and rechange. For her to grasp hold of her feelings about finding Homer in these surroundings. What I presume was a sleazy situation. I'm just so tired. She might have enjoyed a few minutes of the discomfort she'd caused him, but by the time she came downstairs, she was no longer enjoying herself, and the disappointment in Homer Wells was even deeper than her steadfast anger. It was nearly level with grief. I somehow thought you'd end up doing something better and falling a poor cripple's wife and pretending your own child ain't your own, Molly said to Homer. It's like, I don't know, man. I just had to find a way to stay awake. So I'm like, and the funny thing is, the funny part is I have been in a drowsy driving accident before. I fell asleep on the freeway in Phoenix and I ended up hitting someone's trailer. He was incredibly cool about it. He's like, just take care of it with your insurance and we're good. So yeah, I just like only stayed upstairs in the bathroom for a long time. When she came downstairs, she found Homer waiting for her in the kitchen. She'd had enough time alone for her disposition to change and rechange, for her to grasp hold of the real feelings about finding Homer in these surroundings, which she presumed was a sleazy situation. She might have enjoyed a few minutes of the discomfort she'd caused him, but by the time she came downstairs, she was no longer enjoying herself, and her disappointment in Homer Wells was even deeper than her steadfast anger, nearly the next level of grief. I somehow thought you'd end up doing something better. Better than bullying a poor cripple's wife and pretending your own child ain't your own, Melanie said to Homer Wells. You all people. You an orphan, she reminded him. Not quite like that, he started to tell her, but she shook her huge head and looked away from him. I got eyes, Melanie said. I can see what it's like. It's like shit. Ordinary middle class shit, being unfaithful and lying to the kids. You of all people, Melanie said. She had them hands thrust in her pockets. She took them out and clasped them behind her back. Then she jammed them back in her pockets again. Every time she moved her hands, more clenched. Wells had expected to be attacked by her. Now he knew that he would never be a match for Melanie. Do you think I'd get my rocks off embarrassing you? Melanie asked him. Think I was always looking for you, only to give you a bad time? I didn't know you were looking for me, said Homer Wells. I had you figured out all along, said Melanie. Looking at her, Homer Wells realized that he'd had Melanie figured all wrong, too. I always thought you'd end up like the old man. Like Larch? Homer said. Worse, like Larch. Melanie snapped at him. Figure you for that. You going back to that missionary, the do-gooder with his nose in the air. I don't see Larch quite that way, Homer said. Don't be snotty to me, Melanie cried, her raw face streaked with tears. Got your nose in the air. I've got that part right. You ain't exactly no missionary. You're a creep. Knocked up someone you shouldn't have been fucking in the first place. You can even come clean about it to your own kid. Some missionary. Ain't that brave? In my book, Sunshine, that's a creep, Melanie told him. A creep has you read these long chapters as you fall asleep. Because traffic is horrible. And yeah, I gotta get up early to try to make it in time. And she left. She never asked him about the job. He never got to ask her how her life had been. He went upstairs to the bathroom and threw up. He filled the sink with cold water and shook his head. The throbbing had no end. 175 pounds of truth had struck him in the face and neck and chest. It constricted his breathing and made him ache. Vomit taste was in his mouth. He tried to brush his teeth, but he cut himself in the hand before he saw the blade. He nearly recognized he really felt nearly as paralyzed above the waist as he knew Wally must be now. When he reached for the towel by the shower door, he saw someone else was wrong. The towel was missing from a first bathroom. Blank questionnaire, the one he never returned to the Board of Trustees of St. Cloud's, was gone. I didn't take Homer Wells long to imagine how Melanie might answer some of the questions. This new panic momentarily elevated him above his own self-pity. He called the orphanage immediately. He got Nurse Edna on the phone. Oh, Homer, she cried. So glad to hear his voice. This is important, he told her. I saw Melanie. Oh, Melanie, Nurse Edna cried happily. Mrs. Grogan will be thrilled. Melanie has a copy of the questionnaire, Homer said. Please tell the doctor. I don't think it's a good idea that old questions from the Board of Trustees. Photo. She has it. It's where to send it right on the thing. I don't know where she's going. I don't know where she came from. Was she married? Nurse asked. Was she happy? Jesus Christ, that Homer Wells. I thought Homer Wells. Nurse always shouted into the telephone. She was so old that she remembered only the days of bad connections. Just tell Dr. Larch that Melanie had the questionnaire shaped up. Yes, Nurse Edna shouted, but was she happy? I don't think so. Oh dear. But she's going to stay for supper while I said serving the swordfish. I thought she wanted a job, Angel said. What's she been doing with herself? Wally asked. She wanted to pick apples, Candy said. She can't be doing too much work herself. I don't think she needed a job, Homer said. She wanted to look you over, Pop, Angel said. Wally laughed. Angel had told Wally that Melanie had been Homer's girlfriend, which Wally had thought was funny. But your dad never told you about Deborah Pettigrew, kiddo, said Angel. Wally said Angel. Come on, Wally, Candy said. That wasn't serious. You left something out. Angel said to his father. Angel pointed his finger at Homer. Alright, I'm gonna stop here. I'm like just in like agony right now. I'm like, we'll continue chapter 10 next time. Thanks so much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, donate. Email Storm Show for TikTok. Like, comment, share, and subscribe for YouTube. Thanks so much for watching. Sleep tight. Have a good night. Hope you can sleep better than I can. Thanks for watching.